Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking electric vehicle charging stocks. ChargePoint, the largest company in the sector by market cap, just announced earnings yesterday. I listened in. I was loving everything I was hearing. I was impressed, but unfortunately, some investors who were holding the stock lack a brain, and we did see ChargePoint sell off following earnings. But in this video, I want to talk to you about why I still believe ChargePoint can make a comeback in the short term at the very least. And as you can already tell by the title, I also want to talk to you guys about a few other players in the sector that I believe have bounce potential. Those players being BLNK Charging, or BLNK, and a new face to the channel at least, EVgo, or ticker symbol EVgo. All right, so let's get into it, you guys. As always, we'll quickly go over the topics we'll be discussing, then we'll dive on in. In front of us, good old trading view, where we will cover ChargePoint, BLNK Charging, and EVgo in that order, going down the watch list, talking technicals, talking price targets. But before we do that, we got to base this in ChargePoint's earnings, established from some fundamentals, and I'll also just talk to you guys briefly about why I remain very bullish on the EV charging sector, especially following a lot of the downside we've seen over the past week or so. Okay. So this is the earning that we're going to be, this is the article that we're going to be kicking off the video with, talking ChargePoint's earnings, go over a few short paragraphs here, even go over a few words from the CEO. Again, I listened in, I was liking everything I heard. Year-over-year metrics were extremely impressive. And again, I do think once rationale sets back in, and we're seeing that in after hours price action already at the time of recording. I mean, after the market closed today, this is Wednesday, October 8th, I believe. Yeah, October 8th. After market close, ChargePoint popped like 4%. I think it's sitting at plus 2% after hours. And I'm just liking the momentum that we're seeing in after hours, and the momentum we're seeing in after hours trading with these two players as well, okay? So that's a good little sign for the days to come. Again, we will talk short and medium term price action, but first we will cover this article. Before anything, you guys, I will ask you to please give the video a like if you're bullish on charging stocks, if you're still holding these, if you still think they have upside potential. And hey, I mean, from a fundamental perspective, nothing's changed at all. These things have such a bright future ahead of them, even if the short term has been volatile. So give the video a like. Let me know in the comments down below if you are still holding any of these plays, if you have been picking up any of these plays over the past few days, over the correction, because I know I have. And subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this, help your boy get to 50K, really means a lot, okay? And also, lastly, if you want to know exactly how I'm trading these three names, my exact call options, how I'm trading calls, how I'm trading shares, how I'm structuring my positions, complete portfolio, daily newsletter on top of every portfolio update. And again, you guys, it's not just these three, it's crypto plays, it's biotech plays, whatever I'm choosing to play, whatever I'm excited about. I do update my personal portfolio every trading day on Teachable, and along with every update, I also send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts and rationalizing my trades for you guys, okay? 15 bones a month, 40 bucks for every 3 months. First link down below. Means a lot if you guys check it out. If not, no worries, you guys know the drill. And also, Holiday 50, that's the code you should use if you want 50% off, exclusive access to the Waves fam, exclusive Discord. And yeah, was in there just before I started recording this. We're talking EVs, got me all hyped up to record this video, okay? So I do hop in here every trading day around 2 p.m. Hawaii time to talk shop with you guys, do a little Q&A. So if you guys want to join that, again, it's not just for me, it's for the community, best community in the game, that is the Waves family, okay? So again, Holiday 50, if you guys want 50 bucks off that bad boy. All that housekeeping out of the way, let's talk ChargePoint, let's talk some price action, but of course, again, we have to kick it off with this. ChargePoint stock is sinking, earnings fell a little short. Shares of EV charging company ChargePoint Holdings were falling Wednesday after a boosted revenue guidance, but reported a fiscal third quarter loss wider than a year earlier. So I think estimated was a loss of 13 cents per share. It was 15 cents per share. I mean, what? Who cares? The loss might not be. The loss might not be why shares were falling. Investors appeared to be stuck in a policy and competition loop, but the company's CEO told Barron's why competition is less of a concern than investors might think. On Tuesday, ChargePoint posted, Jesus, come on guys, come on website, it's tweaky. On Tuesday, ChargePoint posted a quarterly loss of $69.4 million, which is wider than analyst estimates, and a year earlier loss of $40.9 million. If you're not losing money, I mean, come on, are you even scaling fast enough? It seems to be the motto of 2021. Revenue in the third quarter rose 79%. That's huge. to $65 million at the end of the company's guidance, at the high end of the company's guidance, I'm sorry. Adjusted gross margin in the quarter was 27% versus 20% in the year earlier period. So as I was saying in the newsletter this morning, the year-over-year metrics that they were talking about in yesterday's earnings call were all extremely impressive, especially when you look at ChargePoint a year ago. I won't zoom out right now, but when you look at ChargePoint a year back from today, this thing was floating at like $50, $50+ okay? So year over year, and again, but this is also to show you guys, and you already know this by now, kind of the irrationale and the hype and the mania that's been happening in growth sectors, the hyper growth sectors, primarily in small caps within this current 2020-21 wild market environment, okay? So again, it's kind of hard to tie in rationally. This is all, every metric here pointed to more upside, but again, that's just a testament to the market environment that we're currently in. So don't beat yourself up if you kind of scuffed this play like I did. If I'm being completely honest, I thought this would pop on earnings, and again, I still believe it'll pop, but unfortunately, following earnings, at least in the short term, it did not. Okay, ChargePoint said it had activated ports of about 163,000 as of October 31st, with about 45,000 in Europe, scaling international. Everyone around the world is going to be driving electric vehicles. That's a fact. I personally, I'm all for eco-friendly, all for EVs, all for these companies doing their thing. I like a gas engine. I'm a gas engine guy. A little counterintuitive, but again, hopefully this is me making these videos and pushing out the good word is my carbon offset. ChargePoint stock, nonetheless, has been in a rut. Shares are down 27% over the past month. Earnings have nothing to do with the declines. Instead, investors are waiting for the Build Back Better infrastructure bill, which includes EV incentive, to pass. In the meantime, investors have been deluged by a number of EV charging companies, raising concerns about competition. ChargePoint is the most valuable of the publicly traded EV charging stocks, a group that includes EVgo and Volta, BLNK charging, as well as SPAC companies that have not yet finished merging with EV charging companies. Spartan Acquisition 2, SPAC, for instance, is merging with European EV charging infrastructure provider EVgo. Ionity, an EV charging company that isn't publicly traded yet, was recently in the news because of a partnership with Ford Motors and other automakers. ChargePoint CEO Pat Romano told Barron's that the Build Back Better bill doesn't address the primary use case of charging. He doesn't mind government support, but says it takes a long time to go from policy to implementation. The bill isn't what will fuel EV charging growth. Not directly, but again, you guys, it's just, this is so obvious if you kind of understand, especially in the past year and a half, how slow governments can be to act. Governments also notoriously not the best capital allocators, but if you're just dumping a whole bunch of money into the EV charging, or not the EV charging specifically, the electric vehicle sphere, the universe of EVs, some of that will eventually flow into building out EV charging infrastructure, because obviously to drive around EVs, you need a charger. Ionity, this is cool here. Ionity, a name we just talked about above, is a customer, points out Romano as he battles perception of competition. ChargePoint doesn't operate EV charging infrastructure, wants to sell the best EV charging management software to companies like Ionity. So, Ionity, that's a if I'm being honest, that's a bad name. It's hard to pronounce and it does not roll off the tongue very well. Okay, anyway. Is competition. But anyway, you guys, again, ChargePoints, they are the largest player in the sector by market cap. They have a lot of chargers out there. If you guys walk around your local area, you'll probably see a ChargePoint charger. I mean, even on the Big Island, there's some ChargePoint chargers, okay, which is pretty rare for if you guys are familiar with this area. But you guys look around, you guys look outside, especially if you're in a metropolitan area, you're probably seeing ChargePoint chargers more than any other charging station. It has the most scale. Again, it's scaling in Europe. The numbers are crazy. The revenue's going up. EVs, mainstream vehicles, are still new. That means investors still have a lot to figure out. That can be an opportunity as stocks remain volatile early in an industry's trading history. So again, it's still early, you guys. And again, even if we do see more medium-term volatility, which I don't think so, especially in the case that the S&P, the NASDAQ continue to the upside, which is it's looking like it is. The macro is looking good as of right now. The technicals are looking good. Investors want to keep the party rolling. And if that's the case, then I do think that there's still potential for new yearly highs, if I'm being on. Maybe not by the end of the month unless things get real crazy, but I mean, volume is looking pretty damn good. And again, a bounce at the very least is what we're going to be talking about right now. So in terms of price action, we'll start short term and then we'll go to end of the month price targets. These are, keep in mind, you guys, this is speculative at this point. I was hoping this would pop on earnings, but at this point it is definitely more speculative. It is more technical. But in the short term, I think we could at the very least see a bounce. Things really do reverse. This is the end of month price targets are going to be optimistic scenarios, okay? So just keep that in mind, please. Anyway, when it comes to short-term bounce potential, again, ChargePoint in after-hours trading looking good. That makes me feel good about tomorrow when hopefully some of you guys see this by tomorrow. But anyway, I mean, most of you guys are going to see this by tomorrow, but I mean, I guess time really isn't of the essence. We'll see how this plays out. Anyway, short term, I do think ChargePoint will, at the very least, come up to test the line of resistance on its current downtrend, beginning at its local high back here on November 22nd, just a couple of weeks ago, at about 28.50. Since then, it has been in a downtrend. Again, the carnage for the markets, the no news Omicron news, which again may sound controversial, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to feel however you feel. I think it's no news. It's a serious everything, especially growth sectors of the market, miners, whatever, EVs, Bitcoin miners, everything we talk about here on the channel absolutely fell off a cliff. You guys know how that went. But since then, we have been in a very obvious downtrend. Touch point here, creating the line of resistance. At the very least, I think over the coming trading sessions, we will see a bounce to test resistance. If we can see this play out, of course, you guys keep in mind, these are always dependent on when these trend lines are tested. End of the trading week, December 10th, that would be a 12% move to the upside to test resistance here. If we can break through that, I think it's going to be an easy jump to test this yellow line right here, which is the line of very long-term resistance, okay? So, again, ChargePoints, when it broke through this, I was super pumped, but it danced on this for a while, and unfortunately, in the wake of greater market volatility, we did see it sell off. Touch point here. This yellow line is a very, very significant trend line for ChargePoint. So I do think it's possible, honestly, that we see a bounce here. Fall hard, bounce hard. If we can see that by next week, December 14th, that would take us up to about 20% to about $25. And if we can break through that, once again, close the daily candle above that one more time, then I think it's very possible that by the end of this month, everything goes correctly, we could see a rip up to, I already have this drawn right here. So from current levels, we could see potentially, best case scenario, retest previous support on this beautiful ascending channel is new resistance. December 31st, that would take us to $33, or representing a 55% move to the upside, as you can see right here. Okay, so that's the CHPT. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you're still bullish, if you've been buying on this dip. And yeah, because you know I have always know, you guys, my money is where my mouth is. Okay, so Blink, a little simpler, you guys. Blink, look at that freaking volatility here, you guys. Blink following earnings. This was another reason that I was talking about for a long time in the newsletters, that it was so bullish on ChargePoint's earnings, which again were impressive. It's just, unfortunately, in the wake of greater market volatility, investors are still feeling a little skittish, a little papery handed. Okay, so anyway, following Blink's earnings, Blink absolutely ripped after earnings, and Blink is not as operationally impressive as ChargePoint by any means. Okay, I did play earnings, I did bet on earnings, and those played out great, as many of you remember a few weeks back. But again, unfortunately, the environment is this market moves fast. You guys got to stay on your toes, and again, that's just the game sometimes, and it's okay. But anyway, talking technicals, I do think it's very likely that Blink once again tests, kind of same as ChargePoint, tests his previous line of support as new resistance in the short term. Best case scenario, by the end of this week, we still have 2 more trading days. If in the next 2 sessions we can see a big move up like this from current levels, December 10th, that would take us about 14% to retest his previous line of support as new resistance. Again, fall hard, bounce hard, and if we can just see a nice organic climb up for Blink by the end of the month, I think this is actually very, very possible. If we see a nice organic climb up to retest this, maybe it takes a little longer. Maybe we see, once again, some organic price action over the next few weeks to close out the year with. That'll take us back up to about $43-$44, or like 30% to the upside, okay? But also at the same time, again, you guys, there is a lot of hype around EVs right now. The thing about EVs that makes me a lot more bullish on EV chargers as opposed to plays like Lucid, Rivian, I mean, even Tesla in this market, is like Ford, every single legacy automaker on the planet as well, Ford, GM, etc., are making EVs, and these EVs look sick. If you guys have seen some of the EV concepts that a lot of these, like even Subaru, some of these weirder, more fringe legacy companies are making, they're sick. That's going to pose such obvious competition for players like Tesla, AI, technology, space company, whatever. I mean, right now they're a car company. That's the reality of the situation right now. Right now, all of those are still just car companies, okay? That's what they are. They create revenue from cars and buying Bitcoin, okay? And that's the reality of the situation right now. Like, Lucid is so obviously overvalued in my personal opinion. Not discounting the fact that any of these companies, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, will be around for a very long time. They are the next generation of cars. They are great companies, and they will be around for a very long time in a successful manner. But the current valuations that they're trading at in the public markets are insane, and I mean, I stand by that full well. But anyway, regardless of that tangent, the reason I'm bullish on EV chargers is because regardless of who wins the electric vehicle race, the vehicular race, making the vehicles themselves, there's always going to be a demand for chargers. And as more players come into the space, as more people, and the trend is so obvious, more people begin to drive electric vehicles, not myself, but hopefully more people do, which they will, obviously. But as more people drive cars, you're going to need more charging ports. You're going to need more chargers. You're going to need to keep those cars charged. And I know there's like the power walls, there's all that stuff, but it's like gas stations. These are like the next version. These are Web 3 of gas stations, okay? So these are such an obvious long-term trade in my mind. Again, hopefully investors kind of come to their wits about it, and we do see more. I mean, and again, you guys, right now, like Apple is reaching a $3 trillion market cap. Investors are kind of playing it safe in the wake of greater volatility, but once the growth sectors pick back up, I think it's so obvious that EV chargers have another wave coming, okay? So speaking of second wave, let's talk EVgo. Again, a new face of the portfolio, classic two-wave played out right here, you guys. And that's pretty much all I'll say. If you guys have been watching the videos on Decentraland, Sandbox, Mana, and Sand, good old two waves playing out. This is a pretty textbook two-wave. So again, like, I'm sorry, I talked about this in the newsletter, but not in the video, so not again. But anyway, EVgo is a newer face to the public equity markets, okay? So this thing just IPO'd, went public November 2020, just over a year ago at this point. So a big move up. I mean, had a crazy January, February of 2021, like pretty much every hypergrowth stock in the freaking market. Obviously followed by a massive correction, but in the wake of this infrastructure bill, EVgo has seen some crazy volume. And again, you guys, that's the thing with two-wave theories. That's again with the two-wave, the good old two-wave. Coin it. Boom, first wave up. Parabolic rally. It brings the volume, it brings the eyeballs, it brings the attention. Everyone who bought around here, or people who bought here taking profits, everyone who bought around here selling. We do go into the correction mode, capitulation mode. We'll probably see a little bit of sideways price action, regain that steam. But as you guys know, the second wave tends to be greater than the first wave. The volume we're seeing here, the volume we saw on this move up here for EVgo, is significantly greater than any volume we've seen in the past. Even the volume we're seeing off the bounce is greater than pretty much everything we saw like up in this region. So I do think it's super possible that EVgo sees a second wave if we can just meet the previous high that we saw just a couple of weeks ago. Once again on November 11th here at about 1950, that would take us up over 60% from where we're currently at 1217. Okay, so just want to put this on your guys' radar. Again, if you guys do want, I just covered this in this morning's newsletter. If you guys do want daily updates on EV chargers, on crypto, on Decentraland, Mana, Bitcoin, S&P, not daily, but I do cover many of the names we talk about every single day, throw charts in there, etc. Again, that's going to be the first link down below. It means a lot if you guys check that out for real. And again, if you do want to just talk shop with me every day, just a little live one-on-one, and it is kind of like, I'm not speaking like this, but I'm typing in there. I'm just doing a little live Q&A with you guys, just talking story. It doesn't even have to be the markets, just whatever. Again, holiday 50 for $50 off that bad boy. And again, appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.